Good morning, everybody. You are back with the crew, and yes, we are here back together on the boat. I'm gonna do it the way the cool guys do it, and kind of hold it here for those, impromptu interviews with the hot information comes from. Sorry, guys, it's early here, believe it or not, so I'm barely awake and alive with us, but I'm ready to go. I actually took some notes about what's going on in the banking world. Let's talk about crypto and banking. Let's talk about what's going to happen with it. Anybody that's involved in the ISO, anybody that's involved with XRP or XLM or Quant or any of these coins that are really going to be the future of banking in so many different ways. We all know a lot of what I'm going to talk about, but I want to go next level. I want to go a little higher picture for everybody to really consider and think about, okay? As we all know, banks aren't in good condition. Many banks, let's talk about their ability to interact or transact in the old analog traditional way is quite expensive. The movement of money, the regulation, the red tape, the employees, the brick buildings, the writing a check, all of it, okay? It's all pricey, it's all expensive. Overdraft charges, all of this has just got to go away. Well, this is their lifeblood and how they make their trillions, $7 trillion a year in exchange rates and all the rest of it. Unbelievable to me how we're still there, but we are. But let's talk about what's going on with the banks. They understand where they're headed. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's been a big switch lately into crypto on like a fundamental level. It was a big factor in Nashville with the Bitcoin convention. Two of the three candidates endorsed it. I don't know if you've noticed, Jamie Dimon came out and said he's kind of supporting Trump now. He's a big banking institution. Rumor has it Larry Fink is going to come out and announce his backing of Trump. This is all in. We already know he's already flipped to the crypto side of the world. He wants to tokenize everything. We kind of all know that stuff, but it's strange to me because the families, how I've talked about for 3 years on this show, I've worked for many of these families. I kind of know who they are. I kind of know the players. These families are dividing. And the division is leaving the medium, little-sized banks in America to fend for themselves. I don't know if you noticed, there were 8 or 10 of them just in the last month or two that have failed. I suppose if you had money with those banks, that you understood that they failed. But many people in America never heard about these things. It's not talked about. Well, what's going on right now is the whole global system is figuring out, okay, it's time. Now we got to make our move. Now we're all jockeying for position. I don't want to talk about one guy supporting one candidate and the other candidate, but one clearly is kind of more in favor of crypto. I mean, the guy is using crypto. How would he outlaw it? It doesn't make sense, right? So that candidate is clearly going for it. This isn't about politics. This isn't about nations. What I'm talking about is electricity, banking, and crypto. So if that sounds good to you, stick around because I have some really cool key points coming up. By the way, please like and subscribe. I'm supposed to say that every show and I never do that, but it's free. Just, I don't know, check it out. So what we did, what we noticed, nobody noticed this, but just yesterday, I believe it was, China came out and legalized mining of crypto. I say crypto because people think of mining as only being Bitcoin. No, they mine Ravencoin, they mine Litecoin, they mine Digibyte, they mine Dogecoin, you can mine, there's many. Caspa, you can mine many different coins. The beautiful thing about mining is it really works for the electrical grid. The electrical grid, as we know, is about to be stressed in a manner in which it's never been stressed before. If you look just at countries like China, I believe 70% of all their cars now are electric. They're trying to push everybody into an electric vehicle. China doesn't have any oil. Of course, it makes sense for them to generate electricity. They have massive floods, massive rivers, big hydro dams. But what else does China have? China has nuclear power plants. They have some, I don't even know what the number is, but they have on the books just to build in the next few years like 50 of them. Now, if you understand what nuclear power does for the grid, your local grid in particular, is nuclear power likes to run up to a certain degree and run at that level 24/7. The problem with you and I is we all go to bed at night. We don't use as much electricity in the winter as we do in the summer. All of these things make these power usage and demands fluctuate greatly in 24-hour periods. Well, the perfect thing for that is mining. You can mine, ramp the thing up to 100% of capacity, because that's what nuclear power likes to do. It likes to go full blast all the time. It doesn't like to be shut down, slowed down, and then, 2 hours from now we'll slow it down a little bit. It wants to go full bore, so it needs to make, this has always been the problem with their grids, they have to have a full demand all the time, somewhere to put it. Okay, when the bucket's full, where do you put the water? Trust me, I know about this because my farm is somewhat off grid, and whenever my batteries are full, I feel wasteful when all my solar panels are making electricity. It's not going anywhere. It's like, spilling it into the gutter and it just goes down the street. Valuable, assets in which I've created this system, and now it's not being used at peak usage, and it would be free money to me if I could mine more. I will be mining in the future. That's for a different show. Why I'm talking about this, as you guys know, the BRICS meeting just happened. What's happening with BRICS is very analog. The BRICS nations are talking about going to a precious metals, oil, but people aren't talking about this, and a electric financial system. All financial systems going forward are going to be in electric. I don't know if you know this, but the GDP of the United States just surpassed its digital GDP, just surpassed its physical GDP. In other words, technically, digitally, we produce more than we do digging a shovel using oil to dig out of the ground. That number is only going to increase over time. These BRICS nations understand that. So they know the answer isn't silver. Is silver shooting up right now? It really is, and that's great to see because I own some of it. I think everybody who owns crypto should have some silver and some gold, and it just makes a lot of sense. They're equal in the philosophy of the way we see scarcity and finite things on this planet. They work together quite well. Precious metals are not finite, but I don't want to get into that. They are to some degree, but let's not go there. The system needs liquidity, as we all know. Where does XRP help in that? Instant liquidity. That's great. What do we need? We need to find something that's of value that electricity can produce. Every country knows this. Every country going forward knows that there's no value in just, of course there's value in your light being on to the public because they need it and they'll pay you for it. But what I'm talking about is how do you profit from electricity? This is the beauty of mining. All of these plants around the world, because why? We need more electricity today than ever before. Remember, data doubles on the face of the planet every 18 months. Remember, the tokenization of everything is going to take a lot of data. What is data? Data is electricity. What do we need? We need more electricity. You got to charge these cell phones. You got to charge everything. All of this with AI is a massive electrical demand on the planet. That's why solar is exploding. That's why everything's exploding. All of these nation states who have the ability to produce electricity are going to be the winners in the future. These are the BRICS nations, as we know. But let's talk about a list of nations that maybe you have or have not thought about. You have China, okay? You have Russia, right? You have Brazil, right? You have, I'm gonna throw one at you here, the USA. Canada, what are those doing in there? The Saudis, but in particular the continent and all the nations of Africa. What does that group have in common? And there's a couple other countries in there. That's just to start with. What do they have in common? All of those countries, well, China, because of the reason I just explained to you, they are building more nuclear power plants than any other country going forward. What do all those nations have in common? They all create their own power. They all have a way to create power. Canada has a ton of oil. Canada has a ton of hydro. All of these nation states are starting to understand the future of global dominance with the banking systems. This is what Larry's figuring out. This is what Jamie Dimon's figuring out, is crypto. Why? Because crypto's tokenizing everything along with AI. What is needed for that? Electricity. Why is electricity so important? It's the lifeblood. Yes, it's a blessing for the Saudis to have oil, but why are they working right now? Okay. Think about this. Working right now to build the largest mining facility, crypto mining facility on the planet in Africa. Look it up. Russia. It is already the number 2 nation in the world in mining. China, who banned mining 3-4 years ago, when I did a video about it saying that's the worst mistake that country will regret the 3-4 years that it will take them. You can look this show up. I did it 3 years ago. They will regret this decision, and they will realize that however many years it takes them to replace or just change that decision about their mining, they will look back and say, we lost 3 to 4 years of production and mining. That's where we're going, guys. This is not about mining gold and silver out of the ground. Of course it is that. Of course it is about oil. Of course it is about the one nobody's talking about, and that's electricity. And what do we need for that? We need the copper out of the ground. All of this is your electric economy going to digital with AI. It's mandatory. It's very big, and all the nation states are starting to understand the value of crypto. I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I named a few of those coins that also can be mined, but we're going to need non-mined, okay, staked coins, right? Not proof of work coins, right? Proof of stake coins are going to be necessary to move these proof of work, because the proof of work will have the value backing of electricity behind it. Therefore, it will have a commodity value backing. I know you all know that. I know that sounds real simple, but it's a concept that the world powers are starting to figure out. You and I had this figured out, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. But you know, sometimes they're late to the party. I just want to reflect back on the banking side of things. Remember, banks need the security of the grid if they're going to completely tokenize things. Remember, banks need a stable grid. Banks are already outdated. They don't like to change, but every 100 years. This is their next step. Who would have ever thought that somebody like Jamie Dimon, who said that crypto mining was the stupidest thing he'd ever heard, would be behind it? The Larry Finks, the New York Mellon, I mean, the Citadel, all of the largest financial institutions in the world are coming to this. They're creating options for Ethereum and Bitcoin. Now China is flip-flopping yet again. How many times has India flip-flopped on crypto legality? I'm so excited about what you guys own, because if you're watching this channel, you watch the coins that I talk about, and you watch them every single day, and you are a little too close to the project. You watch that hourly chart. But what's happening in the evolution of man is not just the complete use of electricity going forward. It's really about the use of tokenization, digitalizing virtually everything. There's going to be some pluses and some minuses. I get it. I know a lot of us don't like a lot of it. I fully understand that. But a lot of it's going to really benefit the poor. And that's what's really necessary here. We need to be able to bank these billions of people who would never otherwise be able to send a transaction to make themselves and their families and their communities relevant in a financial world. Okay? This is important for mankind, not just countries or financial institutions or you and I get rich. It's important for the bottom to have a connection. And I don't mean in any disrespect. I mean the bottom people that have never had a voice or a marketplace globally to where they can sell their wares at a fair, honest price. That's where we're going. Nation states are starting to figure it out. We're starting to go completely electric, which is going to be able to create far more opportunities for them to present their goods, present their abilities into a marketplace globally. And I'm so excited about it. And I know you guys are all along in on that with me. And yes, you bought the right stuff. You got the right coins. If you got XRP and XLM and all the rest of the ISOs, you're part of the banking network that is going to be necessary. That is not going to be the old analog system. We're headed to the new one. I hope all that makes sense to you guys. I'm so excited about it. I know I'm kind of wound up here this morning, but it was such a beautiful day, and I woke up and I was researching this stuff all night last night. I'm like, man, it's so clear to me where the world is going and why they need what you and I own, and why the world will use what you and I own. What you own is the future backbone of the network of mankind. This AI thing is just going to duplicate us all, but how is AI going to work? AI needs incentives to create the next thing. Otherwise, why would you put the electricity into a robot to make something or have the AI? You wouldn't. There's a cost production there. You have to repair it. You have to get a new AI system going. All of that data has to be paid for. There has to be incentives to it. How are you going to create the incentives? See, linking a commodity, I'm going to call electricity obviously a commodity, to crypto is an important key that a lot of people that only own proof of stake coins don't understand its relevance going forward. Don't give me that it's going to make the planet warmer, okay? I'm sorry. The technology has gone the other way. There's too many people understanding that that's not accurate. We're burning less oil going forward in the future. We're not burning more oil, okay? I don't want to go down that road, and I already just did. What I'm trying to say is, I really enjoy doing these kind of videos. If you like this kind of content, if any of that sort of stuff makes sense to you, please like and subscribe. I know most of you already have, and it's really good to have you guys on the crew. With that, I love you all, and I am out. Yeah, so every time I talk to, the boomer guys, my guys, they look at me like, what's he smoke? What sort of, have you got a prescription for that, Al? What do you think? Crypto. What's the matter with you?
No. It's V8 engines and digging ditches, Al. That's all there is. That's it. You know. And, you know, our kids grab a gun and go shoot somebody. You know, that's what we do. And I just look at him and I shake my head and I say, you know what, you're better than that. You're a better being than that. We've advanced. There's a lot of love in the air. We're not doing that anymore. Dinosaur. We're not doing that. Love you.